The Lakers are now tied for the second seed in the Western Conference. So the question is, with Luka on the team now, at Nico Harrison and Dallas's expense, are they officially title contenders as we approach the playoffs? And do we owe JJ an apology?
Well, y'all do. I said from the beginning of the season that what JJ Redick was doing with this team, with Anthony Davis, and now with Luka and this new look Lakers, JJ is up for Coach of the Year. Not saying that he should win it. I'm just saying he should be one of the top candidates for Coach of the Year. I said from the beginning, that's not. They're number 2 in the West. And all of those teams in the West, including down to number 8, 9, and 10, they're all over 500. Unlike the East, from your argument last week talking about the Boston Celtics, but yeah, the conference is trash. The Western Conference is not trash at all, Nick. The other thing about this, Ken, and the reason why I'm saying definitively that they are a contender, I'm not saying that they're the favorite, but they are definitely a contender. Ever since the trade, and this don't make no sense to me because this is one of the aspects of the trade that I was questioning. They've been the number 1 defensive team over the last 6 weeks. And when you look at their roster without AD, you don't have a big down low that's a shot blocker, rim protector. But what they do have is elite perimeter size. You know what I'm saying? So at the wing positions, the shortest guy is 6'7". So we're talking AR-15, we're talking Luka, we're talking LeBron, we're talking Rui, we're talking Dalton Connect, we're talking about all of these plethora of guys. And that's why I said, I want to say, if it wasn't last week, it was the week before, this is the definition of positionless basketball. And they're playing it at the best that we've seen outside of Golden State in their heyday prime years. You know what I'm saying? This is what positionless basketball looks like. I also question Luka and LeBron, but LeBron is taking the back seat because he's never played with a playmaker like Luka. And Luka's doing Luka things, Ken, but their number 1 defense with a guy that we question his defense. That's the reason why they are contenders. And also they beat the teams that I felt would give them problems. Look at the game plan against Denver. That is JJ Redick. That's the reason why he's up for Coach of the Year. Not saying he should win, but
absolutely, he's not winning Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year is in Detroit, and it's not even close.
100%.
I was gonna say he's 5th, if anything, on that list. You got Boston, Boston, Cleveland, OKC.
Yeah.
No, I'm not putting Boston Houston up there. They already won.
Houston.
I put Ime up there.
I say they're pretenders, and the reason why I say they're pretenders is it's not LeBron nor Luka. It's the others. I don't trust the other guys. I don't trust the Dalton Connects. Reeves is a pretty decent player, but I don't trust Jackson Hayes, who's a starter, Dorian Finney-Smith. Those guys, those names are the ones, because you're going to need them to make buckets and do things. When Dallas went last year, a lot of those others stepped up, the P.J. Washingtons and
the Dorian Finney-Smiths.
Well, no. Jones. That was the guy that stepped up. It was a couple of different guys that played excellent, and I just don't see these guys on the Lakers doing that. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith was there, but he wasn't that. No, and what the Lakers gonna need from him, he's not gonna be able to do. I just don't see
it. I think there are pretenders. I don't owe no apology to JJ. He ain't done shit. Can let me know, has shit been done yet? They was quoting Kobe for Kyrie shit. Well, Kobe also said the job ain't done, bro. So until we're not even in the playoffs. Like Ken said, somebody can fart tomorrow and they number 9 in the West. You know what I'm saying? So that's how close the race is. So in my opinion, JJ's Coach of the Year if he gets into the Western Conference Finals. Until then,
That's a big if.
I'm talking about me. I'm not saying that's the award he's going to win at that time. I'm just saying like he would be Coach of the Year to me if he takes that team into a deep playoff run. To Sheldon's point, we always talking about the stars in the NBA, but we never talk about the rosters. That's why I mostly gauge all my championship expectations based off the full roster, and I don't trust this roster at all.
Trust it more than New York.
No, I do not.
Why not, Nick?
just because LeBron is aging, he doesn't play defense the way as great as he does. Luka fat as hell. So he's still working himself back in shape. And anybody else you name, you could genuinely give a fuck. They try to trade away one of the guys that FIFO just named. And if it wasn't for somebody fucking up on their medical, we would be talking about Mark Williams as one of the key pieces on this team.
So explain them being number one in defense the last 6 weeks since the trade.
They played some bums over the last 6.
Some of them games. A bum.
Some I said some bums. I didn't say all bums. I said some
bums.
But
so they played some bums, but they didn't. The other ones weren't bums, and they shut them down too. So explain that.
And so my explanation again: we don't ever judge teams based off the regular season when it comes to the NBA. We judge them based off a playoff series. So in one game, can they beat Denver? Fine. In one game, can they beat whatever the fuck? Fine. That's a one-off. The reason why we like the NBA is because unlike the NFL, it's a series. So you're going to prove who's the better team by game 7 if it gets there. I do not see this Laker team beating any of those top 4 teams in the West in a 7-game series. I'm sorry.
You know the reason why I vehemently disagree with both you and Shelton is that the Lakers are a Swiss Army knife, and they can adjust to these teams where these teams can't adjust to them. They don't match up to the Lakers, and that's the issue. Now, here's the thing. You want to talk about LeBron and not trusting LeBron. For 20 plus years, LeBron has been doing everything that you've seen him do in the regular season and increases it in the playoffs. For 20 years, he's done that, regardless of age. And Luka is the highest scoring player ever by playoff stats. So by average, not by totals. But at the end of the day, we have Luka that just is off of a NBA championship run. LeBron that is always basically in title contention.
Okay. Remember you just said Luka was a problem though. So I thought you said it was a problem. Luka.
I said when he got to the finals, he was an issue. He ran out of gas. Just like Ant Edwards when he got to the Western Conference Finals.
So he fixed that.
That's why he got traded, right? According to your logic.
That's what I'm saying is they're the number one. They're the number one defense. They have arguably 2 out of the top 5 best players in the NBA, and they balling.
Can I ask a question?
They're contenders.
Can I ask a question? The last few years, LeBron has played him as great for his age, if not just great overall. And Sheldon, am I wrong? Didn't they have a top 10 player on that team last year that was better defensively than Luka?
Yep. Better than Luka, yes.
FIFA, did they win it? What? They went to the finals any last 3 seasons?
This is not them though. This is a brand new squad.
I'm just saying you were talking about
you're trying to justify your point off of a team that no longer exists. The way that they're constructed is a problem.
I'm trying to justify my point, and Ken, I'm gonna get to you. Based off saying LeBron is older and he doesn't play defense as well as he does, and Luka ain't never played defense well in period.
Still number 1 defense in the league.
So you expected me to believe this is basically the basketball version of Lethal Weapon. And we talking about Lethal Weapon 4 with Chris Rock. We ain't talking about the early ones kid.
I need to see more. I definitely want to see how Luka fits in, and he fits right in. It's interesting watching him and LeBron at times just pick teams apart and find their open guys. And they got, he probably should know Dorian Finney-Smith, but he's played with Dorian Finney-Smith, so he knows exactly where he is and how to throw the ball to him. I think losing Austin Reeves is a big blow because Austin Reeves can ball. That white boy can play, and he's a big factor. So to your point, bringing in Dalton Knecht, who's a rookie, he only stepped in and put up 18 and 19 points the other day. But defensively, I don't know how good he'll be. They also Rui Hachimura has been out, but I think for what I'm seeing is they do present offensively some problems because you got 2 elite passers that could just pick apart teams on offense. And then there was one point where they were just playing with the other team where, LeBron was at the 3-point line. He was passing to Luka and then he passed it back to LeBron and pass it to Luka and pass it back. And then LeBron hit a 3. And it's like, what do you do in that situation? And they eventually took their chance with LeBron shooting the 3. But LeBron's 3-point shooting has increased. But the reason why I wanted to interject is I wanted to say this point. Since January 15th, the Lakers are an NBA best 18-4. And during that time, JJ Redick has them at the number one defensive rating in the NBA, allowing 107.5 points per possession, 1.6 fewer than any other team, if you care about those stats. So this goes back all the way to January 15th, and this is how they've been playing. So it'll be interesting to see. I honestly really don't know. I need to watch more to see because OKC is going crazy out there right now. But they're playing well. They're playing well.
I got a question. In the playoffs, when players matter, like who has the top best players, is there anybody that the Lakers would face in a series where they won't have two of the best three players in the series? It's not. Okay. Gotcha.
Their big two is better than every other big two in the West.
Okay.
But if you take,
not saying that they have the best players.
I agree with that.
You could have said that last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with that. But where my issue comes in is 3, 4, and 5.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, that's fine. But in the playoffs, the top players matter. So if you couldn't say that last year because Luka is better than AD. If I got LeBron and I got Luka.
We were talking about, you said 2 of the 3 in a series.
If you ranking the top players,
LeBron and AD in any series was the top 2 going against anybody. What team in the West last year had a better top 2 than LeBron and AD?
Nick, your point is correct, but the difference between this squad and that squad is LeBron is an elevator. We've seen that throughout his tenure in the Eastern Conference with Miami and with the Cleveland Cavs. Luka is an elevator. AD is not an elevator. AD is a receiver. AD is dependent on playmakers to get him the ball in positions to get easy buckets. Not saying that AD can't get his own shot. Of course he can. But AD is not a playmaker. AD doesn't make the people around him better from an offensive perspective. Defensively, yes, he covers up a lot of stuff, but offensively, Luka and LeBron make people around them way better, and that's the reason why I'm saying that they are contenders. Because you look at their perimeter size, they're going to put 4 guys out there 6'7" or better. There's not another team that can match that outside of Boston. Boston can match that.
Shelton, I have a question for you, and then we'll move on to the next. We'll go to an ad commercial break, and then we'll move to the next topic. I know it's a different team, and I know and different players, but last year, would you have trusted 3, 4, and 5 on Dallas's team with Luka and Kyrie to step up and make those shots the way they did, the way they caught fire?
I would have trusted
into the
playoffs. And just answering it honestly, I would have trusted them more. It's tough in LA. That's my only thing is it's tough playing in Los Angeles with the spotlight on. In Dallas, it was a lot less pressure because nobody expects you to be there. Ain't nobody really watching, but we know what happens in LA to these guys. We saw what happened to Gabe Vincent when he got there. We saw what happened to just about everybody that's joined that team. They've all kind of shrunk under the pressure of the lights. So it's kind of tough to play in LA with all the marbles at stake. It's just going to be tough. So that's the only reason I say yes for Dallas over these guys here now. Also, playing with LeBron is tough. We see what happens when you play with LeBron. You don't play better usually. Usually you shrink. Like they scared. Like, a lot of these guys, we saw them fold from playing with LeBron.
I won't necessarily agree with what Shelton said. My concerns is there's hardly any, like when we get to these 7-game series, the defensive end, that effort, I don't think it's going to be enough for them to win 4 consecutive games as the playoffs go into we go deeper into the playoffs. And I truly don't know what kind of Luka we're going to get after that finals run, because again, the concerns was that he, doesn't keep himself in good shape. And to start off his Laker career, he didn't look like he was in good shape. Now he's looking a little bit better, but again, I just got to see it. And I think this year in the West, and you can make a case for anybody. I think right now we're just in Laker mode. We was just talking about OKC a few weeks ago. Some people was making the case for probably Denver. So it's like, I don't know. I just think that right now, until we see how the playoffs, what shakes in the seeding for all that, I think they just a second round team at best.
Gotcha. Well, AR has definitely had a lot of good moments in the playoffs. He's very comfortable playing with LeBron. Rui Hachimura, we saw him step up in the playoffs. He was an unsung hero for them as well. Jackson Hayes, I'm with you, Shelton, on him because he just be out there doing crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
I think those other guys are I think they'll be fine. When you go to the bench, that's different, but I think the bench are averaging around 20 points now, off the bench. And Gabe Vincent is starting to even make shots. Even he's getting more comfortable taking him and making shots. He still looks crazy, but it still doesn't look pretty, but he's starting to settle in. But we'll see. We'll see. Still 20 plus games left. So everybody's playing for positioning right now. So it's gonna be some pretty intense basketball coming up.